Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are on this beautiful, beautiful planet Earth. Today, I'd like to speak about some ways of looking at our day, every day, or the days that we can in this really challenging time. I'd also like to remind us of practices that can be so helpful. So the work that I'm speaking about on an everyday basis, or as I say, when we can wake up to the fact that we have the power to shift our thinking, our feeling, and our acting. A remembering, transforming our life on a daily basis. So there's a few points to make with all this. One is, I think Rumi said it best, it's always stayed with me from the time, it's always rung true from the time I first heard it many years ago. Every morning we wake up scared and empty. Don't go down to the study. Take up the dulcimer. Let the beauty that you love be what you do. So this is a bit like that. Every day we have the opportunity to take the different path, to not see someone and think the same thoughts, to not wake up and not even allow ourselves the possibility that an unseen joy could arrive today in our life, every day. It could be that your husband cleaned those plates last night. What a joy. It could be you get a message from someone you love that you haven't heard from in a very long time. It could be that your tomatoes are growing well. What a joy. Or a deer arrives in your backyard for an encounter. Every day, those possibilities are there. But often, we wake up, and especially during this time, it seems so endless, doesn't it? And with endlessness comes the dropping of hope, of consciousness, of gratitude, of possibility. And so for us, as those who are on a path of wanting to awaken more and more in order that we can be love-filled beings, we need to begin. We don't need to, but if you want to, you can. You can begin by remembering your deep connection to the world. Now, we're told every day that our connection is about illness, about death. How many people have died? Where it's the worst, where it's the best. Oh, hospitals and fires, and that's our news. Now politics as well for Americans, and that's desperate news. So how can we remember all that we have been influenced by other cultures in the world, how they've changed our diet, their songs, their dances, the beauty of the world, what it's given us. And maybe what we've given as well. Maybe we haven't thought of all that we've given that may have been helpful. We certainly know the things we've given that have been disasters. However, we have enough disaster, so let's think of the good things that we were able to give from our culture, from ourselves. When we traveled, were we able to help? Were we able to give something that we were able to contribute to someone else in the world? It's a beautiful thought to remember that you do contribute, and you have contributed to many others all over the world. And the next is thankfulness, to be able to remember. Thankfulness for all that you've received, for all that you've given. Thankfulness. And this is a little bit difficult, this one, but young people can teach us this, children especially. Hope in the future. Knowing that the future will unfold in the way that the future is going to unfold, and we can be a part of that. We can have hope that whatever has happened so far has happened, been resolved, and happened and been resolved, and happened and flourished and flourished and flourished, like a plant would see the growth of its life, like a tree, all that it had known, all that it had given. Yesterday, my husband and I were standing in a line, waiting for something with other people 6 feet apart, and all of a sudden, we started noticing this beautiful, old tree. We started maybe 10 feet away from it and looked up and said, oh my God, look at that incredible tree. And then as we progressed in line, we were right to the trunk of the tree. And there were mosses around the base of it. And it was so large and so beautiful. And I turned to my husband and I said, this tree is giving all of us such a gift. Look at the life around it. Feel the essence of it. What a joy. An unforeseen joy. We're standing in line. People are grumbling. People are quiet, sullen, isolated. And yet here is this giant tree giving off its life force to us. And I believe we were the only ones who noticed. But because we noticed, because we allowed for this unforeseen joy, we were given more joy, more opportunity, more health. This is confidence in the future of today. Will something come to us? Are we awake enough to see it, to feel it, to acknowledge it? Not all the time, no. But when you can, it is such a gift. And the last part of opening to our day is living with wakefulness in the body so that we can experience, remember, be thankful, all the things that make up a healthy life. A healthy life. And of course, we can't do everything possibly healthy right now, but we're all doing the best we can. And so some of these practices, which we'll start right now, are the way. They are the way. Without these practices, at least one or two of them, it is very hard not to fixate on old thoughts, see people as they always were, and have no opportunity for an unforeseen joy or any hope in the future. So let's just sit and drop down. Imagine your head is like a big cavern, and it's filled with water. It's like a beautiful secret lake. And then the whole body is that lake. So here's a new way of dropping in and down. So I'm going to imagine that beautiful crystal secret lake in that cavern, a cave of the head. And it's going to begin to become less full and less full. Let it drain, 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 until it's an empty cavern filled with new treasures that we haven't seen yet. And then we come down through the tube of the neck. The water is receding, it's receding, allowing for new thoughts, new feelings, coming down through the shoulders and the torso. This deep, deep lake is receding and coming down and opening new spaces as it keeps draining and draining and draining and draining all the way down through the whole torso, all through the ribs, the lungs, into the belly. And now the belly has this lake, a big lake. So beautiful. And then the belly begins to drain into the pelvis and down into the legs. Keep doing this with me, and then we have these two rivers that have come out of the torso, out of the pelvis, and it can begin to rush down through the legs, just rushing, rushing, rushing. And as it does that, it takes debris with it and opens up the spaces, allowing the cells to relax and to open, and down through the knees, down through the calves, draining, 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 and through the feet, all the toes and heel, into the floor and beyond the floor. Good. And maybe in this state, you can feel a new softness in the chest, maybe an ease of thinking to open to new wonders, new possibilities. A good way to start the day, or in the middle of the day when you're caught up, or the end of the day before sleep, to allow the new thoughts from the night school to come in. Thoughts that are greater, thoughts that are from a different aspect, that can come in and inform us, remind us, allow us to think freshly, to act freshly, to feel that natural thankfulness of the heart coming to the earth, reviving our relationship to the earth and transforming our thinking, our feeling, and our acting. All this can come with a small practice. Blessings on your practice. May peace be with you. And may you be open to a new, unforeseen joy every day.